Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about how to use the verb have. I'm going to focus on two different ways that we use this verb. Let's get started. First, over here, I want to talk about using have to show ownership. We use the verb have when we want to show that an object or a pet, for example, belongs to someone, or we want to express that something is owned by someone. So we do this with the verb have, and in present tense, we need to consider the subject of our sentence. So for this lesson, I'm going to focus on making statements with this verb. Here, when our subject is I, you, we, or they, we add the subject to have and a direct object. We'll look at some examples in just a moment. This is the basic pattern for a simple statement of ownership with the verb have. This is a positive statement in blue. To make a negative statement, we use, again, the same subjects, the same group, or the same kinds of subjects with don't, and then have, and our direct object again. So don't is the reduced form of do not. You can use both of them, but in everyday speech, we typically use don't. So I don't have, you don't have, we don't have, they don't have. When the subject is he, she, or it, however, we need to use has. So this is the conjugated form of the verb have. When the subject is this, we have to use has. So he has, she has, it has, and a direct object after the verb, just as we saw in the first example. Again, we need to make a change when we make a negative statement. In this case, with he, she, or it subjects, we use doesn't before have. So please note, in the negative here, with these subjects, we use don't, do not have. With these subjects, we use doesn't or does not have before our direct object. So these two example portions refer to using have to show ownership in the present. So these are present tense statements. Let's take a look at a couple of examples down here. First, I have a car. I have a car. My subject is I. I follow this with the verb have, and my direct object is a car. A car. I have a car. So this is the thing that's being affected by this verb. I have a car. Second, she has pets. She has pets. In this sentence, my subject is she. Has is the verb. I've conjugated it from the regular have to has to match my subject. And my object is pets. In this case, a plural. Pets. Pets. She has pets. Finally, a negative example. He doesn't have free time. He doesn't have free time. My subject is he. I want to make a negative, so I've used doesn't have instead of just have. Keep in mind, we don't change this portion. This does not change to has. Only this portion changes. So he doesn't have, and then my direct object is free time. He doesn't have free time. So these are basic examples of using have for ownership. Let's take a look now at the same idea, but in past tense, So when we make past tense statements for ownership, we don't need to be so concerned. We don't need to worry about the subject. So here in present tense, we need to be careful about the subject because our verb changes. But in this case, past tense, we don't need to worry about that. So to make a past tense ownership statement, we use subject plus had. This is the past tense conjugation of the verb have. So have becomes had, plus our direct object. To make the negative in the past, we use didn't have. Didn't have. Didn't have is the reduced form of did not have. so didn't have. Let's take a look at some examples that use past tense then. So here, first, I had a dog. I had a dog. You might use this when telling a story, like when I was a kid. So here my subject is I. I've used had, the past tense form of have, and my direct object is a dog, a dog. So I had a dog when I was a kid, or the reverse is okay too. When I was a kid, I had a dog. The next example, he had a meeting. He had a meeting. So again, my subject, he, past tense verb, had, direct object, meeting. He had a meeting. And finally, a negative example, she didn't have lunch. She didn't have lunch. So the negative past tense form is didn't plus have, and my direct object is lunch. So you'll notice here that especially with these two example sentences, it's not really an object or a pet that we're talking about here, a meeting or lunch. Actually, there are some very common expressions that we have that use the verb have. For example, to have a meeting or to have meal, as in to have breakfast, to have dinner, to have lunch. Please note, we do not use the verb take. We do not use to take lunch or to take breakfast. We may use to take a break or to take lunch in terms of a break period. But when we're talking about a meal, we do not use the verb to take. We also have the expressions to have fun or to have a good time. To have a nice day as well is a common greeting, like I had a nice day or I hope you have a nice day. So please keep in mind there are these common other expressions that use have but maybe aren't about owning something, like having a physical object. So this is the way that we use have and has and had to show ownership. Let's compare this now to part 2 of this lesson. In part 2, I want to look at using have to make the perfect tense, So for this, I'm going to cover the present perfect tense and the past perfect tense. Let's begin with the present perfect tense. So just as we did with part 1 and the present tense, we need to think about the subject when we're using present perfect tense. The same groups apply. I, you, we, and they as subjects, plus have, plus present participle, the present participle form of a verb. This makes the first part of a typical present perfect tense sentence or present perfect tense statement. To make the statement negative, we again use our subject and we use haven't plus the present participle form of a verb. Haven't is the reduced form of have not. We'll see some examples in just a moment. Compare this to this one, again, the same as in part 1 over here. Our subjects are he, she, and it in this portion, and we need to change the verb have to has here. Then we follow this with the present participle form of the verb. So again, has for the subject he, she, or it. He has, she has, it has. In the negative, we use hasn't. So this is has not in the reduced form. A pronunciation point with these, we tend to reduce have and has to v and z when we're speaking. For example, I have becomes I've. You have becomes you've. We have becomes we've. They have becomes they've. When using these subjects, he has, she has, and it has become he's, she's, its. So please keep this in mind. It can be hard to pick up when you're listening, but over time, when you listen to the grammar of the sentence, you'll notice these patterns. A great hint is listening for this present participle verb form. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples that use this pattern. First, I have been to Mexico. I have been to Mexico. My subject is I, here. I follow this with have, And then I use the present participle form of my verb. I have been, in this case, to Mexico. So we use the present perfect tense to talk about general life experiences. I have the life experience of going to Mexico. So we use present perfect tense to show that. We don't use simple past tense, I went to Mexico, because we're not talking about a specific point in time. We're using this just to show that we have some life experience. I've been to Mexico. So the reduced form that I just used is the most common in conversation. Not I have been to Mexico, but I've been to Mexico. Let's look at another example. He hasn't eaten lunch today. He hasn't eaten lunch today. Here's a negative. My subject is he. I'm using hasn't, the reduced form of has not. Eaten, my present participle verb, and lunch in this case. He hasn't eaten lunch today. He hasn't eaten lunch today. So in this case, we're talking about an experience today. So we also use the present perfect tense to refer to actions that started in the past and that continue to the present. So why did we use it here? We would use this here to mean that this person, this he in this situation, may be suffering some kind of negative effect. For example, it's 4 o'clock and he hasn't eaten lunch today. So the speaker might be concerned that this person is hungry or maybe tired, needs a break, they're very busy. He hasn't eaten lunch today. So today, he has not had the experience of eating lunch. Maybe he needs some time off, or maybe he should take a break. So there's maybe some concern about the other person. That's why we might use this kind of grammar for this sentence. Finally, the last example here, she has arrived at the station. She has arrived at the station. My subject is she. I'm using has as my helping verb, and my present participle, arrived, follows. She has arrived at the station in this case. So we could use this to maybe talk about someone's travel plans. Like, oh, she has arrived at the station and maybe now she is waiting. So we use it to talk about those kinds of sequences of events. Like she has arrived now, she's in that station waiting for us. Okay, so let's take a look now at the past form of this. So just as we talked about in part 1, with the past form of the perfect tense, past perfect tense, we don't need to concern ourselves, we don't need to be worried about different subjects here. We all, or rather all of these, will use the same pattern. Subject plus had plus present participle, or to make the negative, subject plus hadn't, which is had not, plus present participle. And note, for both of these, I've used present participle at the end here, but yes, you can use been plus ing. You can use the continuous form. I'm just not covering it in this lesson because there's not enough space and time for me to talk about all of it. But we can use this as well, yes. So we use past perfect tense when we want to talk about something that maybe started in the past and was continuing but was interrupted. So we use this a lot for past actions that were interrupted, as in the first example here. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So here, we, subject, had been, so again, my linking verb, my helping verb here is had. In this case, I'm using this been studying pattern, this continuing pattern. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So this shows an interrupted action. You'll notice this first part, we had been studying, is in this continuous form. So that means this period to this period, this 2-hour period, was studying. We had been studying, so in this period in the past. Then here, our teacher arrived. Our teacher arrived. So maybe the studying stopped or something interrupted our studying. So the speaker is talking now in the present, but they're talking about something that happened in the past. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So this is a common pattern with the past perfect tense. Let's look at one more example. If you want to show a sequence of events in the past, past perfect tense is very useful for that. For example, I saw my busy friend yesterday. We might begin our story with this. I saw my busy friend yesterday. She hadn't slept in 24 hours, so she was exhausted. She hadn't slept. So here, she is my subject. Hadn't is the negative had not here, plus present participle verb form, in this case, slept. She hadn't slept in 24 hours, so she was exhausted. So using past tense and past perfect tense helps us show the sequence of events. So in this case, I saw my busy friend yesterday. This was most recently in the past. My friend hadn't slept in 24 hours. So in the 24 hours before I met my friend did not sleep. But we use past perfect tense to describe that period because it was a continuing period. So 24 hours prior until when I met my friend, she had not slept, no sleep in that period. So we use past perfect tense to describe that. So I finish this with, she was exhausted. At this point in time, she was exhausted. So I'm referring to this specific point in time when I saw my friend, so I'm using simple past tense there. So this part, her experience, the past 24 hours, I use past perfect tense to talk about that. And I also use past perfect tense to talk about that because it was before, it's something that happened before this point in time, which is nearer to the conversation now. So we're talking now. If this is the present, this is when I saw my friend. This is my friend's experience. This came before this experience. So when you want to talk about something further in the past, use past perfect tense, then simple past tense to do that. So we show sequences of events. This is a little bit more of an advanced grammar point. But this is another way that we use had and hadn't. So I hope that this lesson helps you to understand the various ways that we use have, has, and had, and all of the negative forms as well. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some sentences with these words, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you liked this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.